Osobola omanya n'okuyigayo intention ati wali talina recognition nga tabavubuka bamukola tulina mission artist katejirabe nga platform egenda okuteeka artist gwe ku form sibyakubuuza mbuno gwe owasaddi abnormal interviews babuuza ofumbiddwa ddi artist nga bw'owuliriza eno ye interview dakiika zibeera 10 zokka temuba interview artist tekakola beba storytellers sako n'abava mu kisaawe ekyono artist nga bw'owuliriza eno ye interview dakiika zibeera 10 zokka temuba interview artist tekakola beba storytellers sako n'abava mu kisaawe ekyono artist.
I think my journey starts with graphics design. I studied mechanical, but in doing mechanical engineering, that's why I got to have my first laptop. We used to have a particular course unit called Solid Edge, which really needed designing products, designing, for example, like screws and nuts, things like that. But when I finished campus, I felt like I wanted to explore more the computer my dad has bought for me. There's some of these old Dell laptops, I would say. I wish I could get it back or something. Yeah, but I dived into design, graphics design. I got my first job. I wouldn't say it was a job right after campus. Some friends of mine in Bukoto invited me to come do for us some designs. I did design there for like a year. I think we were into like a year, and then our boss then bought a camera. It was a Canon level entry camera, and it was sitting at office. Whenever we had to go out or someone needed to use the camera to go to the village, they would borrow it. But essentially nobody was using the camera at office. So I found myself using it more. The idea of being a visual person in design, trying to work with colors, composition, alignment, making things look neat. It was the camera was a bit attracting me, I would say. Like, the camera is seated there, why can't I just take a picture? Even in design, you find yourself needing pictures to use. So that's how I started to use my first camera, or how I actually got into photography. And ever since then, of course, the camera wouldn't get out of the office for longer periods, I would say. So whenever I'd get out of office, say the weekend or my free days, I would just try to use my phone. But I found myself relating my photography to my design. In the early stages of my photography, I was quite obsessed with shooting. It's like you are not a photographer, and once you're a photographer, everything you see seems to be beautiful. Like when you travel, when you see the landscapes, when you see the sun, you're like, how come I've never seen the sun look like this? Like, I've never literally paid attention. So for me, those small things of pausing, photography, opening those eyes to see what God created, of seeing the sun in a different view, seeing just a human being, and just like wow. I remember I used to be in a taxi, and I would make sure I open my window. They almost stole my phone, but I would always open my window like downtown and just watch people's faces, like how different we all are, how 70 people can bypass you and all of them have something so different about them. Their face communicates this. They are shy, they are angry, they are sad, they are happy, like watching a free movie. So like some really dope free movie. So from that angle, I thought there are two sides of me, at least from my creative process. So what triggers me is going out, but also the idea of what you have gotten from out and you've come inside to actually take time and make use or make it come to life. Like, yes, you can take a photo, but the way you frame it, what you crop out or what you add in or how you edit it adds so much, or it brings out exactly what's there, but in a much better way, because now we are packaging something for someone who's going to see it on a phone or on print and not exactly in real life. So there's a way you have to actually prepare it. So I've always wanted to go out and shoot, go out and create, but I also value a lot coming back to your space, to a place you're actually comfortable in, and make your work come to life in a sense. The whole process of selecting what exactly should make the final cut for me is, it's a very delicate process that you have to give time to. So every time I'd go back home and spend time from this shoot just to select, just to say, I have to edit this, so I'm picking this instead of this. There are reasons you have to go through. And for me, it's the home of Agandy. Of if you have a place, if you have your own location where you have the equipment you need, you have the laptop you need, you have a conducive space that you call home, and when you come back home after shooting and feeling free, that freedom of you're not at pressure or you're working for someone else, that you have to select the image that they tell you to select. And for me, that was it. I always have had that dream of, I want to get my own space where I have the freedom to create. I'm always triggered, either by something I see or I hear, especially on the internet. If I want to be creative, I need to be motivated. And where do I get the motivation to do something? I think it comes more of doing research. If I want to have a particular shoot, take a particular direction, I'm going to do a quick search on the internet about that specific direction. How do I do the lighting? What gear do I need to do that? That's one, but also to actually look around myself. What exactly do I have to execute something? Like, I can still see something and say, I can use this to actually do a particular concept, to have a particular shoot. So normally I work with triggers. I can be triggered by some without having a particular shooting idea or in my mind, and then say, I've seen this thing, let me get a concept out of it because it looks good to me. It looks like I can work with it. Or I want to have a shoot, now let me plan for it. And how do I plan for it? I make my research and I reach out to whoever I want to work with, and then I'll make it happen. So at least that's how normally I come up with my ideas. But all those are rooted in creativity. The reason for why you're creating something, do you get satisfaction out of it? And I personally believe I do. If I'm doing work for someone and they want it a particular way, a direction I wouldn't take personally, there's a sense in which I wouldn't get the satisfaction out of that. So for me, for one is, if I do something and I get the satisfaction out of it, I feel confident in what I've done, I think that's a high for me. And if I create something which I feel is a bit abstract from myself, and then I feel like someone else relates to it or someone else sees the art in it, that's a high for me. The low is when someone doesn't understand exactly. Arts are being used to actually make bonds stronger between strangers. Take an example of this TikToker who actually goes on trains and draws people and then just gives them the drawing, and you're like, someone actually thought about me when I was doing that, or when I was just there minding my business. Someone took 20 minutes to actually, for those 20 minutes, someone had their attention on me, and for those 20 minutes, it feels like they actually cared about me. So that sort of bond the arts create. I've had shoots before where you take a picture of someone and then they see the picture and they view themselves in ways they didn't view. Like someone says, I was actually going through a hard time when you took that picture, and it has really touched me, or it has really felt, I feel uplifted in the sense like, thank you, Ninno. And for me, that can be like, it's the goal really. It's the goal.